left the Marines in what year?
1985, January.
Now, after you left the Marines, you were arrested on a very serious case, is that right?
Yes.
And you pled guilty to attempted rape, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And then you went to prison for that.
Yes.
Now, while you were in prison, you were actually at different prisons within the Ohio system, is that right?
Correct.
You were at Chillicothe at one time?
Yes.
Did you work while you were at Chillicothe?
Yes, sir.
What kind of work did you do?
I started off as an electrician.
And then at some point you worked at the Ohio prison industry?
Yes, OPI.
OPI?
Yes, sir.
And what kind of work did you do there?
I was a cab man.
What's that mean?
Cab man is okay. You know the snow truck you see out there with the forks in the front, with the snow removal in the front, and the
Sure.
dump bed and the flashing lights. We made those down in Chillicothe.
All right. So what was your job with respect to that?
The cab man does the electrical systems inside up under the dash, inside the cab of the truck. I had to do all the wiring, like hook up all the lights, the controls, and everything, and hook them up to the electrical system.
Then there was a time you went to a prison called Madison, is that right?
Correct.
What kind of work did you do at Madison?
I worked in the barracks, yard, and the gym.
I'm sorry, you have to keep your
The
voice.
barracks, the dorm, the yard crew, and the gym.
All right. And there was a time you then got transferred up to the prison called Grafton.
Correct.
About how many years did you spend at Grafton?
9.
What kind of jobs did you have at Grafton?
I started off on the yard crew. Went to OPI.
Ohio prison industry?
Yes, another OPI.
A different one. Okay.
Different one.
And then what else?
From there, I was laid off and sent to the kitchen.
All right. So there was a time you started working in the kitchen at Grafton.
Correct.
Did you enjoy that work?
Not at first.
Not at first.
No.
Okay.
Kitchen is a punishment in prison.
Okay. Is there a point in time when you began to enjoy it?
Yes.
And then what did you enjoy about that?
I like to eat.
Okay. Did you work there every day and helping count and prepare the food?
That came like a year later. I did that job. It's called the hot box.
Okay.
And the job of the hot box man is to assist the cooks and also get the food from the cooks and distribute it out to the different food lines. You know, when you come in, your line is like a B. You got a line going this way, line going this way. Each side got to be, the food got to be put in there, and that's what I did. So I had to keep count of who was coming to chow. Was it like a state week, or what the meal was, and
And when you worked in the kitchen, you were being evaluated by the staff at the prison.
correct.
You became friends with Roosevelt Lloyd while you were at Grafton?
Correct.
You and Roosevelt got to be good friends?
Correct.
And when did you get out of prison?
June 1985. June 2005.
What were your goals when you got out of prison?
First was to get a job.
Why is that?
That was, to me, I had always worked, and to me that was like critical.
And did you go to a re-entry program?
I got out on a Friday, I think. I called them, and I had an appointment like that next week.
That's at Networks for Success?
Correct.
And you went through their program, fair enough?
Yes.
And they helped you get a job?
Yes.
Do you remember a job that you had working at Old Jacobs Field?
Yes.
Working for the Cleveland Indians?
Yes, I did.
What did you do there?
I was hired as a cook.
Is that through like a temporary agency?
Yes, called Paragon. It's a food service, temp service.
All right. And what was your job when you worked there?
I did prep.
What's prep?
Prep is basically preparing the food for the cooks.
What type of things would you actually do?
Vegetables, carrots, onions, tomatoes, whatever. I made up the salads I made up the condiment plates, all kind of things like that.
Did you enjoy that work?
I did because I'd never done it before. That's why I was asked before I took the job, would it be okay? Because I'm actually a cook and I do prep. You know, that's not, most cooks ain't going for it.
It's kind of like one step below.
Yes, but since I'm still getting paid my top salary, and plus I wanted to learn that part of it anyway, so I said, you know, yeah, I'll do it, no problem.
How many hours would you work a day on that job?
12.
Why would you work such long hours?
That's the hours. Start from the morning, cooking. People don't know, but Jacobs Field's got about 5 different kitchens. They got a main kitchen, then they got terrace lounge, club lounge, all the different lounges have kitchens in them. So we can go from I was going from the main kitchen sometime, and, shooting up to the terrace lounge, or I worked a lot in the club lounge, which I like the club lounge.
Right. How would you describe that job?
No, it's the best job I ever had.
The season came to an end, right?
Correct.
And you went to another job after that?
NAMPAC,
NAMPAC?
North America Packaging.
What was that job like?
Terrible.
Why do you say this?
It's hard.
It was a hard job?
Yes.
Was it manufacturing job?
Yes.
How long did you work there?
3 months.
Why did you not work there?
Was laid off.
And then did you get another job after that?
Yes. Custom rubber.
And what kind of work did you do there?
Machine operator.
What type of things did you do
Injection molding.
there? How many were you full-time employees there?
Yes.
Did they treat you well?
Yeah.
Now there comes February of '07, and you had a major medical event. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
What happened?
I had a major heart attack.
Tell us about the days leading up before you went to the VA hospital.
Well, I had a heart attack, but I didn't have the symptoms of a heart attack. So, when I had the heart attack, I thought I had the flu. What happened, I was going over to my sister one day, and this is right after a big snowstorm, and it was an elderly woman out shoveling snow on my street, and I walked past her. And when I walked past her, I said, "Ma'am, you shouldn't be shoveling snow like that." And she said, well, she didn't have nobody else to do it, and they wouldn't deliver her mail as long as, the path was blocked. So I turned around and I sheltered for her. I proceeded to walk on my sister. I'm a walker, so I like to walk. So I walked up to my sister's house, and there I threw up. I got sick over her house. That's when it actually happened.
You didn't realize that at the time?
No, I just thought because she got so many kids, she got 9 kids, I thought, matter of fact, I even commented, I just got here and y'all done got me sick already.
Mm-hmm.
So I called my niece, Danielle, had just stopped by the house and had left, but I called her back and told her to give me a ride home because I know I couldn't make it back home by myself.
You just said something about you're a walker.
Yes,
What do you mean by that?
I like to walk. My father liked to walk.
You walk long distances?
Very long distance.
Would you walk from your house on Imperial to your job down at Custom Roberts?
I've done that before.
That's on East 55th Street,
Correct.
off St. Clair.
Yes.
How far do you think that is?
I don't know, a few miles.
How long would it take you to walk?
Hour and a half.
Now, after this heart
Oh,
attack,
but I didn't finish about the heart attack.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
So I kept on going to work, and I was getting sicker and sicker. I was taking third blue and stuff like that, still getting sicker. So just finally, matter of fact, my boss had been asking about being sick, and I told her no, I was all right. So
How
finally,
about Chris?
yes, Chris.
Okay, go on.
And so finally one day I was real sick when I came in, but I was determined to, I come into work at 6. Chris and them, which is front office, they usually don't get there at 8, but this day she happened to be there, but I didn't know it. So I was really trying to wait till 8 o'clock till they got there. So I worked till 8 and I stopped, and by that time my body had totally shut down. I could barely move. I had to crawl up the steps almost. And they called Chris over, and Chris told me to go home and don't come back until I get well, so she can mess me up.
So you tried to work after this?
After the heart attack?
Yeah.
Yes.
There came a point in time when you went to the VA?
Yes.
All right, you literally...
I had problems with my ID
Okay.
because this was a Wednesday when she let me go from work. But when you have a heart attack, you're so tired. By the time I got home, all I could do was lay down and go to sleep. So that was Wednesday. Thursday, I tried to get my ID. My ID had been taken by somebody, and I tried to get them returned to me. So I messed around with the whole day doing that. So that was Thursday. Friday, I called my sister and told her to give me a ride over there to pick up my ID. My sister didn't show up till like 4 in the evening, and she took me over to get the ID. The people wouldn't give me my ID, so she took me to the VA hospital anyway. They wouldn't let me in because I never registered at the VA. I never went to the VA before.
And you didn't have your ID?
And I didn't have ID, so they wouldn't accept me.
Okay.
So that took me to Saturday. So Saturday, I just got up instead of depending on anybody. I just got up, caught the bus, and went down to 55th Driver's License Bureau and I got an ID and got over to the VA.
What happened when you got to the VA?
Well, I fell out. I was on the 50, and the 50 comes around in front of the VA, then it goes down the side. And when the bus was going in front, I stood up, and when I stood out, I just fell out.
So they got you into the hospital there at the VA?
Yes.
And then you were transported over to the Cleveland Clinic?
Well, not directly. They took me upstairs. I was seen immediately after they took my blood pressure and stuff because it was obvious something was wrong. And I was sent upstairs. And they told me I'd be staying. But once they examined me and everything, they found out that I had heart damage, that I had a heart attack some time ago.
So at that point, you get taken over to the Cleveland Clinic?
Yes, well, because it was a Saturday, the weekend, the VA don't have a full staff. And I had to have emergency surgery right then. They didn't have time to call in their doctors. So they had to put me in the ambulance and send me over to Cleveland Clinic.
And that's when they put in the pacemaker?
No, not directly.
Okay.
I went on the operating table. I had clogged arteries, 3 clogged arteries.
Right.
2 major arteries was clogged 100%, and 1 was 80%. So on the first day, as soon as they took me out the ambulance, I went straight on the operating table. And they unclogged 2 arteries that day. They didn't want to do all of them to stress my heart, so they did 2 of them the first day, and I was sent upstairs. I got a pacemaker like that. I think that Monday night they was transferring me from critical care upstairs, and I started to die. And they had to give me an emergency pacemaker, which they put it through your neck. And it was a few days later, they cleared the other artery. And like after that, about towards the end, they gave me the switch pacemaker, because the pacemaker, temporary pacemaker, is like a box about this big, this wide, and it's on a stand. I had to walk around with.
But then they put in a permanent pacemaker in your chest.
Pacemaker, pacemaker with the defibrillator.
Okay. So you've got that in your chest ever since?
Yes.
And they wanted you to do rehab after you got out of the hospital, is that right?
Correct.
Did you do all your rehab?
I didn't do any.
Why didn't you do any rehab?
Number one, it was through Cleveland Clinic. I was only sent to Cleveland Clinic on the VA for the heart problem, not for aftercare. That bill alone was almost $200,000. I could not, there's no way I could afford, and they wanted me to go to rehab every day of the week.
Every day?
Every day from that morning to basically 8 hours. Every day I couldn't, number one, I wouldn't be able to pay for it, and number two, I would lose my job.
And you wanted to go back to work at Custom Road?
I did go back to work.
And you did go back to work?
Correct.
How long did you stay at Custom Road?
Well,
If you remember.
let me see, this March, May, June, till July.
All right. Why is it you left Custom Road?
Well, I don't know which month it was. I don't know which June or July. You know.
Okay, well, for whatever month it was.
I got sick at work,
Okay,
and they had to call the ambulance. And I went to, they took me to Hero Hospital. And when I returned to work, the worst thing could have happened when I got sick again after the heart attack at work. That really was the nail in the coffin.
so you just couldn't do the work anymore?
Not, I couldn't do the work, but I couldn't do the work. That was one thing. But then, on an employer standpoint,
Right.
even though they won't tell me, because I asked them, you know, they really, that's kind of a big liable having somebody there that's had heart problems and falling out at work and stuff is a big issue. So
All right.
it's kind of a combination.
All right, so after that incident, you left Custom Road, right?
Yes, when me and Chris got together and discussed it, and I thanked her for giving me a chance and everything. But I don't want to cause them no problems.
I mean, you were a registered sex offender, right?
Correct.
So it's a convicted felon, you've done a lot of time in prison.
Correct.
It's hard to find a decent job, right?
Correct.
But they've given you a chance.
Yes.
You worked there for about a year and a half or so.
Correct.
Now, after you had that heart attack, did your health change?
Drastically.
How did your health change?
Well, we speaking of chess. I'm gonna give you an example. I'm a good chess player. I play on the internet. Well, I used to play on the internet all the time. My game, I could not win a chess game after this heart attack. I just stopped playing. I could not win a game.
How were your emotions?
Well, I was depressed. Mood swings. It was just, it's just all kind of, so I don't know. I can't even explain it. I was just feeling sad and lonely and stuff all the time, you know.
Was there a point in time after the heart attack that you started hearing a voice?
Yes.
Did you give that voice a name?
I didn't give it a name. I had a name.
It had a name.
Yes.
What was the name?
Arnie.
Would Arnie speak to you?
Yes.
Anthony, you know why you're here, obviously.
Correct.
Is there anything you want to say to families of victims in this case?
Well, the only thing I want to say is that I'm sorry. I know that might not sound like much, but I truly am sorry from the bottom of my heart. This is not typical of me. I don't know what happened. I can't explain it. But I know it's not a lot, but that's all I can give you.